Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I work on my extended to slow lope transition for ranch riding. So this is a maneuver that's very commonly asked for in most of your ranch riding patterns. This horse has done it a few times before, we worked on it a bit, but he's definitely not finished in that area, so I want to show you how I'm going to work on it today. I'm going to show you the cues that I use and how we get our horses really connected in that. Okay, so the first important thing to know is that your horse has to have a basic understanding of transitions in the first place. He needs to know how to respond to your seat. If you sit down, you stop riding, he needs to stop, okay? Same with that, a trot to a walk. If you're trotting along and you give that horse a cue to walk here, and you sit back, you need to be able to bring them back to the walk easily, and they need to be mentally connected and have the understanding of how to make those transitions already, okay? I don't want you to come out here, and if you're having to pick up and pull on your horse the whole time, you're gonna really struggle to get this transition at a lope done, because the faster you go, the more things tend to fall apart. So we need to be sure that everything's connected at a slower speed before we move up to the lope, all right? All right, slope him off. You can see he has a nice little slow lope. He's not running off on me. He looks good, he feels good, he's in my hand. Now I'm just gonna lightly lean forward here, sit forward and ask him to step up into that extended lope. I'm not gonna ask for a ton of extension, and we're not gonna go very long. And then I'm gonna sit back for that regular lope. He slowly came back, but it wasn't enough. Just gonna stop him and back him up there. I'll squeeze him, ask him to get soft again, and then we'll go ahead and do it again. You don't want to make a big, obnoxious correction. You don't want to make your horse feel bad, because we want our horses to relax into that transition, not get worried about what might happen to them, and then for them to speed up and get rattled and all that good stuff, okay? All right, there we go. I like where he's at right there. I'm gonna lean forward just a little bit so you can see how fast this horse picks up that extension. It's not something you'd have to ask him much to do. See, he came back there, but he took a sweet time about it. So what we're gonna do is just bring him back down to a walk, squeeze him, soften him up, and then walk off again, okay? If he were to run straight through my cue, if I sat down and he just kind of kept blasting through there, and then I picked up my hand and he kept blasting through there, I would draw him to a stop immediately and kind of turn him around to the inside, get his whole body soft. But he's not doing that. He's coming back to me. He's just not doing it as fast as I would like. So what I'm going to do is to continue to just transition down slower and slower and slower. Let's go ahead and do it again. So that way he anticipates slowing down even more instead of just continuing to lope. All right, we're in a good place. Make sure he's in my hand. Lean forward, ask for that extension. Woo! I don't know what scared him over there. There we go. Now he got a little, he's feeling a little funny. You can see he's going pretty fast here, so I'm just gonna get him settled back into that circle. There, that feels really good. Lean forward, ask for that extension. There we go, beautiful extension. And then I'll just sit back, ask him to come back to me. Didn't really happen, we're gonna stop and back up. Good job. Now, I don't make an extreme maneuver when I ask for the extended lope or when I come back from it. I do want it to be obvious to the horse, but I don't do my extended lope way up and over the neck. And then when I sit back, I don't want to plop back on him and make a big abrupt move that startles him either, okay? We want things to be pretty smooth. What I do is just go back to my normal loping position. I kind of sit back on my pockets again, and then I open my inside leg and kind of put my weight on my inside stirrup just ever so slightly, okay? It's not like a big move, so I'm not doing this where I come off and do that number right there or anything. I just kind of open that inside leg and put my weight just a little bit into that stirrup there and sit back on my pockets again and kind of say, hey, step back. Let's put the brakes on just a little bit, okay? All right. He's going a little bit fast already. I'm going to check him in just a little bit. There we go. All right, go ahead and extend. Forward, really nice extension, and then back to the slow lope. That was cute. Okay, he tried hard. He got a little heavy on the front end, but it was a great effort. So we're going to take that, and then I'm going to come back down again, like I said, to the walk. So he anticipates going slower and slower and slower instead of just coming down to a slow lope and then loping, okay? soften him up. There we go. I'm just gonna pick his shoulders up here a little bit. There we go, get him loping around nice and slow. Now we'll ask for that extension, and I won't ask for a ton of extension because, as you can see, he doesn't mind giving me a lot. There, that was really great. The mental connection was fantastic there, okay? Pick his shoulders up, there we go. Good job, and I'll just let him sit on that one. Good job. We'll let him have a break here for a minute. Okay, so on that last transition, he didn't come back super hard at first. I could feel him immediately acknowledge what I asked him to do, but what I really liked was that he kind of apologized and really made a strong effort to get slowed down afterward. Good job. He's like, I know my job now. Okay, we're gonna do it one more time on this side. Hopefully he gives me a little bit stronger transition there, and then we'll go ahead and work to the right just a little bit. Getting a little fast. I'm just gonna rock him back on his haunches a little bit, pick those shoulders up, asking him to slow down. All right, let's extend that lope. Good, and then back to a slow lope. Nothing happened, we'll go ahead and stop. What I want to point out as well is that I don't go a long time at the extended lope, okay? Right about that the time that horse picks up speed and he gets moving a little bit, and then I go ahead and bring him back down again, because we want him to anticipate coming back, not just running off and going and going and going. As they get more finished, then we can go longer periods at the extended lope, but right now, that's not our goal, okay? It's really, okay, he's running through my hand, I've got to squeeze my legs, pick his back up and say, hey, you need to back up. If I draw on these reins, something has to happen. Once again, there we go, good. There you go, pick your back up. All right, there we go. Pick my hand up, just kind of test the response. He's running through my hand. Back him up. Immediately when he answers, I'm going to give him his reins back. So now we're going off on kind of a little side deal here, but this is often what's going to happen when you start working on these things. Other things will pop up as that horse begins to anticipate things, or there we go. His mind just gets focused on loping, and we're going to do this transition, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. So what you're going to have to do is kind of counterbalance some of that stuff. There we go. That stop was nice. There we go. A lot of training is just playing a counterbalancing act. There we go. It's important not to overlook one problem when you're in pursuit of a solution for another problem. There we go. All right, extend the lope, push him out. About the time he gets there, ask him to slow down again. Nothing happened. Bring him back down, soften him to the inside. And just as a reminder, the reason I always soften him to the inside here is because you'll notice that when he tightens, when he doesn't come back to me, then they tend to get bracy and kind of look to the outside, okay? So we want to keep them soft through the body and looking to the inside when they make that transition. And that's why I'm going to do that there. There we go. Okay, back up to the extended lope, push him up, good. That's gonna come back, there it was. And I'll just let him come all the way back. Very good. And I'll let him just kind of rest on that. Was not the prettiest transition ever. He got pretty heavy on the front end. But again, the very important part to me at this stage is that he's mentally getting there. He's mentally getting connected and making the move and taking some responsibility. Good job. So we're just going to let him soak on that for a minute. Good boy. There we go. Open around, pick up my hand. Nothing happened. Draw him into the ground. He's pushing on me. Soften him up again. Let me soften him up again. There we go. So we're finding some holes here. We're finding some resistance right there. And I just want to fix some of that stuff before we go back to our extended lope. There we go. All right, pick up my hand. Nothing's happening. Okay, back him up. There we go. There we go. Very nice. I liked when I drew on him there. His feet really sped up instead of just hanging on my hands. Okay. Open them off again here. Go ahead and pick up my reins. There, now something actually happened. Good job. Good job. Pick up my hand. Good job. All right, so my goal here, like I mentioned before, is that when we're doing these transitions or any maneuver that you're working on, often we can end up doing so much with our hands. There's a lot of things going on, and while we're trying to fix certain elements of the maneuver, then we can end up causing problems in other areas. And that's kind of what I started to notice, is that he was becoming disconnected from my reins and from my manual cue. So I had to go back and get that connected again to where when I lift my reins, it actually meant something and he wasn't running through it, okay? We got to keep that sensitivity there to where they're listening and they're aware. Let's lift them off again. Good job, lift my hand. Good, lift him up. There, good job. Nice. And I'll leave him alone. Good job. So, especially on a horse like this is going to take a lot of patience, but I want you to be there for your horses. I want you to be able to hold their hand through this. It can be a frustrating process if you haven't done it before because it does take so long. But to get a show-ready horse, especially in the ranch riding, and I think from an outside perspective, people don't understand how much goes into it because these transitions have to be so clean and they take a lot of consistency to get there. There we go. Lift up my hand. I was kind of took too long for him to respond. There we go. I need to lift his shoulders up a little bit. Get him to back up. There we go. There. All right, back to the extended lope. Good job. I really like that he came back there. He really kind of came down on the front end. And again, he didn't maintain the lope, but it's okay. He's mentally coming back to me when I asked him to. So we'll work on the speed in just a moment. But right now, I want to tell him, yes, that's the right answer. You need to come back. So if you have a horse that's really just struggling to come back, period, and then they come back all the way to a walk or maybe to a trot, I want you to reward the effort there because that's the important part, is that they're mentally understanding what they're supposed to be doing. We can work on the speed and a little bit, but right now that he knows what his job is and that it's to slow down when I sit back, when I ask him to come back to me, we're on the right track, okay? Good job. All right. Push him up. Another thing I like right here is that he's taking longer to get up there. There. Slow down. There you go. Good job. And then I'll go to a walk. Good job. So what I liked about that one, again, wasn't the most flawless transition. What I really liked was that he took his time getting up there. He waited on me. When I leaned forward and asked him to go into that extension, he didn't just get more and more power going and launch out of there, okay? He took his time, crawled up into that extension. Right about there, we started getting a decent extension, and then I sat back and asked him to come back, and he made the move, okay? So I'm going to reward the effort. I want to get this horse relaxed, and I want to leave him on a really good note so he understands what he was supposed to do when we finish, okay? There, nice, kind of crawling in that lope. He doesn't even want to speed up. I'm going to lean forward, ask him to extend, and then ask him to come back. didn't really make the move I wanted him to. And then he kind of got stiff to the outside, so I'm just gonna gently jog him around here, really soften him up. There, let him reach into it. There we go, all right. Extend lope. Come back. There it was. Whoa was kind of weak. There we go. There you go. Good job. Attaboy. Good job. Okay, so I really liked that last transition that he gave me. That was really good for him. I think we made a lot of progress in this session. I was going to show you guys the whole process to the right, but he gave us enough to work on, enough for me to show you guys going to the left, that I'm going to tie up this video for the sake of time, but the process is going to be exactly the same on both sides. I know it can be a frustrating process. It takes a long time, but I hope this video helped give you a few tools and show you the process of working through it. If you get a couple good transitions, then I would leave your horse alone there. Let them build on that and work into the next day. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them below, and we'll see you in the next one.